It's been a long time coming, and finally, the wait is over. This fan base has been on a pedestal too long. They have been overstepping what their expectations should really be, and it's finally time for them to be done. We're talking about the Buffalo Bills season, right? Oh, you thought I was talking about New England. They're over. Everybody says so. They're not. They're not over. And they're not going to lose this week. But wait, in the news it says that they're trading Stephon Gilmore. Yeah, in the news they traded Logan Mankins years ago, and then they traded Chandler Jones years ago, and they traded Jamie Collins years ago, and the beats kept coming. But they were terrible. They played Denver horribly. Yep, absolutely, Cam was terrible. And then they got killed by San Francisco. Folks, Shanahan rents out space in Belichick's head. The way he puts horizontal stretch in his offense breaks down New England's gaps integrity, and it just destroys them. And then if you look at the San Francisco defense, which is anchored in the middle with Fred Warner, who can one-on-one erase Edelman, and the space that they can take away in the middle of the field, well, where does New England like to hit people, folks? In the middle of the field. We bet on San Francisco to beat New England. And that happened. And we expected it to be a little bit closer, but yeah, New England didn't show up for that game. And Mike Reese made a comment about how important this game was for the New England Patriots season and their playoff chances. And I responded that day saying it means nothing. The game against San Francisco means absolutely nothing to New England's playoff chances. But this game's everything. It's not enough to start moving up the mountaintop. You got to knock the champ off the title. And that's where what Buffalo's being asked to do this week. And that presents a number of problems for them. First off, this New England defense, much maligned, has been beat up a little bit this season. It matches up against Josh Allen as beautifully gets. In the Josh Allen era, Buffalo has averaged 11.5 points versus New England. In last year, he averaged 13.5 points versus New England. Now, you'll tell me, hey, Barkley played for a good portion of one of those New England games. Yeah, he actually moved the ball better. So you got to ask yourself, which Buffalo offense is the real Buffalo offense this year? Is it the one that put up points against Miami who didn't know what they were doing? Is it the one that, put up points on the Raiders when they blew coverages all over the field? Was it the one that beat up the Rams' stagnant zone? Or is it the one that has averaged low scoring totals of about 14.5, I think it is, versus Tennessee and versus Kansas City? Which one is it? I know where I'm leaning. Where are you leaning? That's a big question, and that's going to be answered this weekend. And that is not where the problems stop. New England knows the weakness of the Buffalo defense. Everyone should by this point in time. It's been there for 2 years. When you run inside zone against their defense, they break apart. The Rams did it, Washington did it, Philadelphia did it, Star Lotulelele or not. They get blown up in this because if you circle Tremaine Edmonds in the middle and you spin him like a top, they can't stop anything in the middle. And that's exactly where New England's going. Crosser RPOs to Edelman, Diggs to Jacoby Myers, inside zone with Damian Harris up the middle. Buffalo's going to eat that all day, and it gets worse because we've seen versus the Raiders them blowing their concepts and their contains when you do the veer mesh option. You watch the blockers away from Tremaine Edmonds. You watch him chase into traffic, and then you leave your defensive end in the outside contain. Well, that defensive end has to stay there because Cam is a lot bigger of a threat to run than Derek Carr. So now you have that RPO game, and this is the same thing that Kansas City just whooped them with. Now, it's going to be different this week with New England versus Buffalo than it was Kansas City versus Buffalo. With Kansas City, they were terrified of the deep speed, so they left their two safeties high, so Mahomes just had give read all day long, and that's why they were able to run for 7 yards a clip and why Mahomes just kept giving the ball to the other team. Kansas City should have scored more points. Mahomes was 21 of 25 in that game, throwing the ball, and I believe the 4 that he didn't get were dropped. And they were at critical times that cost them first downs and cost them points. So Buffalo is going to see a lot of the same thing from New England, but they're going to be coming up closer to the line of scrimmage, which would be a problem if it wasn't for the fact that Cam Newton is in the game. Because Cam Newton is going to stretch them horizontally, and it's going to give you just about the same effect as throwing two safeties high as it will by stretching them wider. You're going to see the same run game present itself against Buffalo this week by New England that you saw with Kansas City. Maybe 5 yards a carry instead of 7, but that is way too efficient and allows New England to stay on schedule with the chains all day long. And that's going to present a problem for this Buffalo team. The defense has been a severe issue for this team. They have been getting gutted up the middle in a number of different ways. And if you look at the RPOs with Edelman, you look at the dig routes with Jacoby Myers, and you look at the circles with James White, all these things are going to be to spin Tremaine Edmonds, and he is going to get beat on all day long. And this isn't going to be just this game. There are a number of teams on the schedule left that present those problems for Buffalo. And this should terrify Bills fans because it's now or never. You are 5-2. They are 2-4. If you don't slay the dragon right here, you have just opened up Hell's Gate. If you look ahead on the New England Patriots schedule, it is soft. There are some good teams on this schedule, but it is for the most part soft. And the reason for that is they play the Rams, and Belichick's defense murders McVay. And they play the Texans, and Belichick always beats Cornell. And they play the Chargers, and Josh McDaniels flanks the Chargers defense to death. He owns them as well. So most of the quality teams left on the schedule for New England are hugely slanted in their favor when it comes to scheme. You have Baltimore, that's going to be a problem. And you have Arizona, and that's just going to be a fascinating game of seeing how this New England defense matches up versus Kyler Murray and air raid. I'm excited to see that one, and I have no idea which way that one's going. But those are the two. Those are the two where New England isn't in the proper seat for the matchup. But then you look at Buffalo. They play Seattle. That's not going to be easy. They play Arizona. That's even worse for them than it is for New England. They play Pittsburgh. That's not fun. San Francisco. Spin them like a top. Edmonds is toast. And then they play New England again. That's a 5-2 team that has 5 games on their schedule that are not in their favor. You lose in Buffalo this week, you are almost destined to go 9-7 at best. If you count 2 losses to New England, Pittsburgh, Seattle, San Francisco, that's 9-7. But the Cardinals are no cupcake. And the Chargers are playing better, even though I like that matchup in your favor. And the concerning one is Fangio in Denver, because Fangio saw what Staley, his disciple, did to you that worked and what didn't work. And thinking he's going to come up with the wrong game plan against you is wishful thinking. There will be no room for error. Buffalo will need to beat one team that is better than them to be 9-7. And they cannot make or slip up versus any of the teams that aren't. If you don't beat New England here, you have to beat them in New England, or you're in deep, deep trouble. And right now, Buffalo's sitting high, 5-2, thinks they got it, have not beaten anybody quality yet. New England sitting at 2-4, just played a bad matchup with San Francisco and didn't show up after their bye with Denver. And everybody's burying them. It's not over. It's not over. I'm a Packers fan. I don't care if New England falls. I'm telling you, it's not over. Cam is taking criticism. Slater's starting to chirp. And Belichick is giving Josh Allen compliments, talking about how he's done a good job getting into a secondary option and how he's done a better job not running. Remember with Belichick that compliments are insults. Taking you off of your primary is what he's saying. Pushing you onto your check down routes is what he's saying. Knowing that Allen isn't going to run is what he's saying. So he says, I know how to take you off your primaries. I know how to make you take the lesser of the evil routes, and I'm going to steal the ball from you in those spots because I'm not worried about you running. That is bad, really bad for Buffalo. And Belichick knows it. If you think this dude, this coach, is going to let Brady walk out the door and fold up shop, you're insane. Buffalo, you are in for the fight of your life this weekend, and I don't see it going your way. I fully expect that when the dust settles, like I said early in the season, Buffalo and New England are both sitting right around 9-7. And Buffalo, if you don't beat New England, that tiebreaker goes to New England. And that puts you on the bubble for the wild card. And watch out because Cleveland has a very easy schedule. You have one of the hardest schedules left on the docket. New England's is middle of the pack. Cleveland's is the easiest. Cleveland's going to find a way to get to 10 wins. Can you? That leaves Indy, you, and the Raiders all battling out for the 7 seed. This is your chance, Buffalo. Right here, right now. You beat New England, or it's over. And as I said, the cap is capped. There's nowhere up from here. This is who you are. I hope you enjoy it. You gotta win. And if you win, come back, tell me I'm a fool. And if you don't win, hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notifications. Because here at Football Unlocked, we're telling you the truth. What does this mean? Well, this means that our biggest bet of the year is about to be placed on this game. New England should be a dog by 2 points if you follow the lines that Vegas has put out there. Why is it 4? Because you're going to bet on Buffalo. We're not. We will bet 5 units on New England, plus 4 to cover, and an additional 5 units on New England to win outright. That is 5 units on the plus 4 New England and 5 more units on the plus 170 money line. That's our bet of the week. I love you guys. We need you. Stay strong, and I'll see you on the other side. Good luck, Buffalo.